Good morning, Bill.
This is I wanted to be off today. I thought this was the week of July the 4th, but you wouldn't let me. We're going to talk about politics, all right? We're going to actually do something that politicians don't do. We're going to work. We're going to work today. And we're going to talk a little about the political landscape and how that's all affecting mortgage rates and where we are and that sort of thing.
The political landscape.
Well, let's talk about, the Mortgage Bankers Association had Bill O'Reilly at their secondary market conference, and he said if Hillary Clinton ran, she would get the Democratic nomination and win, and if she didn't, a Republican would win. Now that's O'Reilly's opinion. I didn't say that's right or wrong, but that's his opinion.
Wrong, but,
well, it's his opinion, okay? It's his opinion. And so we have all this controversy and acrimony in the country around politics. So let's talk about that and what has led to all that. In fact, there's a famous picture in line of Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill. And Ronald Reagan said to Tip O'Neill, look, it's 6 p.m., let's go have drinks. We have to be friends now.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
And they were all buddies. In fact, the first person that came to Ronald Reagan's bedside when he was shot was Tip O'Neill. And so they were all buddies and they got things done.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not the case anymore.
Now everybody has taken a very strong stance, and there's no compromise.
They don't know that word.
Don't want to work together. Everything is ideological. It has to be pure. And politics, they always say politics is the art of compromise. And anymore, it's
not.
Just not.
Winner take all.
Right. And it's unfortunate because as a result, an awful lot is being not done. Things aren't getting done. And one of the things that has been hurt real bad is our economy in terms of housing and the economy in general. Lack of jobs. It's been very, very weak.
Our banker friends hate this regulation. They hate it. This Dodd-Frank, they just think it's horrendous. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, it's funny to me. It's one of the positions that a lot of the extremes take is that everything should be the free enterprise system. We should not have, government should be out of everything. But, on one hand, free enterprise by itself is the most efficient way of allocating resources. However, it's not stable. And on the other hand, you have a very stable system, a socialist type of system, very stable but very inefficient. And
That's right.
The problem is this instability in the free market results in it going off track.
And way off track. It goes way too far in one direction.
Yeah.
For example, the reason the Federal Reserve was put in place in 1913 was to stabilize the monetary supply and the money supply and stabilize monetary policy. That's why they were created, because we had all these business cycles. They wanted to smooth out the business cycle.
Exactly. And regulation in general, regulation isn't just arbitrarily created. It's created in a reaction to problems that have occurred.
So let's talk about July the 4th, and we're really halfway through the year basically, and we don't see a lot of growth.
It's been very flat.
So look, I need the Dorsey doctrine. Okay, you've heard of the Monroe doctrine. We need the Dorsey doctrine, and the Dorsey doctrine is all about what it's going to take to get growth restarted. Now you've got some very strong opinions. Let's recast them here, because nobody's listening to the first half. These politicians have not listened to the Dorsey doctrine first half. So they just hadn't done it, folks. So let's talk about what it's going to take to get the economy restarted. If you were the head politician in charge, what would you do to get things restarted? People say, oh, the president can do this. Well, the president's hands are tied in other ways.
The president can't do
right?
much of it.
It can lead by influence, but the president's hands are largely tied. The Federal Reserve can do monetary policy. And since this, folks, I'm going to be more animated today because this is Politicians' Day. We're talking July 4th. Since the Fed can do monetary policy, but the Fed can't do fiscal. I used to say when I was a kid, physical, but they can't do fiscal, F-I-S-C-A-L, fiscal policy. That's left up to the Congress.
That's correct.
And so the Congress has to pass those bills, and the President has to sign those bills for fiscal policy. So let's talk about the Dorsey doctrine.
Well, there are a few things I would do.
We're going to yell and scream like the politicians do, okay?
They would not be all that popular. To me,
Well, that's right in keeping with what the politicians are doing today.
Exactly.
They're not that popular.
What I would do is I would work on ways to build the infrastructure.
Okay, like what are you talking about? The sewer system and the roads?
Sewer systems, roads,
water, bridges.
internet, bridges. I mean, our bridges are in terrible shape.
Cell phone towers.
Schools, a lot of our schools are decrepit. They need significant work on them. I work on all this. And you're going to be surprised at this. I would have a 2-year commitment of everyone,
To the military?
not the military necessarily.
Or public service?
Public service.
That which the military could count.
Military could count.
But it would be, yes, I am surprised. Is that part of the Dorsey Doctrine? That's amazing. That is amazing.
I would do that across the board. Everybody at, between certain age range has got a 2-year commitment.
Public service commitment.
Public service
Which could be military.
Could be
Because some people love the military. It's very, very important to have a strong military. And some folks love military service. In fact, the soldiers today are far superior to what they were when they were drafted. You listen to all the officers talk, senior officers talk, they're much better.
And that's because they're comparing him to me. I was one of the draftees.
Well, let's move on. So 2-year public. Why would you make it 2 years?
I think 2 years is a reasonable commitment. I'm doing it from my own experience. I got drafted. I served for 2 years, and it was not anything I wanted to have happen, but it happened.
It was a good learning experience.
It was a good learning experience, and it gave you the opportunity to, be part of something bigger and supportive of the country.
So you could do 2 years public service, a lot of different venues.
Right. I mean, you could be a teacher. You could in rural areas, for example, or you could work on highway projects, or you could work on various.
Okay, so invest in infrastructure. 2 years public service commitment, which could include the military.
Right.
And that's 2 platforms of the Dorsey Doctrine. Are there others?
Yeah, I mean, I think,
I knew there were.
of course. I mean, how long do you want to go?
Let's keep talking. That's two planks of the platform. What else?
I would continue to support the efforts. I mean, I know that a lot of people are trying to reduce the effectiveness of the central bank, the Federal Reserve, but I would continue to support that because I think they do a fantastic job of controlling the business cycles, or at least mitigating the business cycles.
So strengthen the Federal Reserve.
Strengthen the Federal Reserve.
And how would you do that specifically?
I don't think you have to do a whole lot more than what's there, frankly, but you have to continue to give it the support to be able to do what it's doing.
I think people largely, in both parties, although they don't want to acknowledge it, they largely acquiesce to the fact that the Federal Reserve is doing a very good job. They're doing an excellent job.
They are, and I think that needs to be continue to support that. Other than that, I don't think there's going to be a lot necessary, because if you have on one hand the capability of generating fiscal activity, and on the other hand controlling the money supply, you have the 2 tools that you need to control the economy.
So the 3 planks of the Dorsey Doctrine: invest in infrastructure,
Right.
mandatory 2-year public service, and strengthen the Federal Reserve.
Exactly.
Well, you've heard it here, folks. Happy July 4th. Hope all of you have a wonderful day. You need lots of suntan lotion and put on that sunscreen. It's all great. This is FNC's Morning View. I'm Bill Rayburn, and with Bob Dorsey, author, perhaps penned as we speak, of the Dorsey Doctrine. You all have a fantastic week. Goodbye.
Bye.